So today we're going to make this little album. You can make it as an ordinary album or you can make it into a birthday record book as I've done. I made most of this album with crafty individuals, bits and pieces. I've used crafty individual stamps and a mask on the front and the side there. Crafty individual stamp on the front and here. I will put a list on my blog. These images are from one of their books, which I'll also put the details of on the blog. This is a sheet of tags. So inside, they're all made from envelopes, small envelopes, standard size ones, and I'll tell you which ones I use. So you use one envelope for a double page, and as I said, I've done it as a birthday record book, so I've put a little tag. You can put tag on both sides. I've only put a tag on one side, but you can do it on both sides if you want to. I use half a sheet of tags because there's 12 tags, so if you do it the way I did it, then a sheet of tags will make 2 books. So I just put January on there, stamped it on. I've used the crafty individual stamps. Then what I've done is I've made the envelope pages in the middle as somewhere to write all my friends and relatives' birthdays on so I don't forget. So in each pocket I've put a tag. They're all the same. It's just repeating over and over again. What I'm going to do on those tags is I usually forget when I bought presents for people, so what I'm going to do is write down on those cards when I buy something, and then it's recorded and I don't forget I've bought it and buy something else. So that's really going to be useful for me. These, as I said, are all crafty individuals. So I've made the little tag for March. It just goes on the same way, and then that's the next one, and then May and June. That's how they look inside. Got to record, as I said, to record the birthdays in there. June, July is there. That's a lovely stamp. They're all beautiful stamps. They're such images. They're all exactly the same, so each double page is the same. There's obviously 6 envelopes in here. August, September. The images are gorgeous. My favourite, of course, the vintage is my favourite. November. You could put some more sparkles and things on there if you wanted to. You can put some glitter and things. And that's December. So let's get on to the tutorial and show you how to do it. Okay, for the pages, we're going to use some envelopes. Now, I get my envelopes from a Touch of Craft. 25 envelopes at $1.20, really good value. They used to sell only at craft shows, but they sell on the internet now, I believe. So I've got hundreds of them and things. I've got millions of them. I used to get them all the time when I store them at shows, so I wouldn't run out. So I've ended up with tons. So you just want to stick the envelope down. Just put a tiny bit of glue on that very edge where there's no sticky. Sorry, I'm just licking it. It's just disgusting, I know. Stick that down. Then what we're going to do is just fold that in half. Oh, sorry, the other way, with a sticky on the outside, not inside. Take a slither off that side. So get your ruler or do it on your cutter, whichever you like. A tiny slither is really the least amount you can take off. Like that. Gives us that edge. Get your bone folder and really crease that, so make sure that that's stuck. Look, I've licked that, but that's not stuck down. Just try to lick one little piece that's not stuck. It's not easy. So that's your page. So you want some pieces of card or pattern paper. You can use sort of a reasonably plain paper and do some stamping on, or you could use just pattern paper. I'm actually using the crafty individual stamps because I wanted it vintage. And I've got some mats which are, let me think, 4 3/8 by 3 to fit these envelopes. So you just want a tiny little border all the way around. As you can see, it's only a really tiny little bit. So at this stage, if you're going to ink around your envelopes, I'm only going to do it on the very, very edge, because I still want to see a little bit of that nice beigey sort of colour. I don't want to get rid of it all. You need to do that first. So I'm using an old dried up baby wipe. So when I clean my stamps, I just leave them on the side and then I use them for ink. So go over it first. That will be, I'll just show you the whole thing rather than tell you. It's easier. You don't get such a good sort of even finish doing it with these, obviously, but I don't want that, so that's okay. I didn't want the card to be really white. I do want to lose that whiteness of it. So dip it in the brush corduroy. That's really dark colour, so it comes out very dark and intense. So go all the way around with it. Then go into it. So you've got less ink on the tool, and then when you've got rid of that bit of ink around the edges, nip round the middle with it a little bit. Going to want a piece of card which is 2 by 3 3/4, and you're going to want to score that at 3 1/4. Let's get my board out. I'm ending up with about 3 inches of room again to work. I'm a really messy worker, really am. So 3 1/4. So it's just giving us our tab to attach the tag with. So that's there. So we're going to do the same again and just put the green on. The back is going to be just the flap, so I want green all over that. You don't have to go right over that tag, so you're going to put. If you go right over the tag, you need to let it dry before you put your double-sided tape on, because it won't stick so well if it's stamped. So, or if you don't want to do that, because the tape's going to go on that tag both sides, so don't ink it only just over the score line. This one is going to have the tag on it, this front one, so I can just go around the edges, and I need to go up about 1/2 inch on that side. If you need a little bit of a guideline, is to pop your tag on the top there. Let me take the paper away so you can see a bit better. Pop the tag on the top of there, up to that scored line where it would sit, and we're going to stick it. And you could just get your pencil, make a little pencil mark down the bottom there. Or actually you could go all the way up, because we've got to cut it, so go all the way up the pencil line. Then we can, I'm using Memento, the brown one, which is Rich Cocoa, and I'm just stamping that November on there. And at this point, before we ink it anymore, you need to just cut it at an angle. So you can just do this with your eye. Cut an angle both ends, and then, it's a funny angle actually. It's a bit too much of an angle on that side. And then you can, where your pencil line is, you can get your ruler and your knife and just cut up from where you made the tab up to the top on that pencil line. That will give you a little tab on there. Rub your pencil mark out. Okay, and then we can just ink around there now. So same applies. You're going to go on the edge, put your tab down, just go on that edge bit there. I'm going to do exactly the same as we did with the stamp piece. Just go around the edges, and then bring the tool in. Then I want a little bit more on there. If it's got a lot of ink on it, tap it on the paper first to get the majority off. Don't worry too much about the middle piece because I'm going to put the tag on it anyway on there. And again, go around the edges with the dark ink. Turn the tab over, and then on that top bit just a little bit, and then bring the tool in. And then go over the middle. Okay, so then we need to stick that on there. I'll put some double-sided tape on and stick it on. So when you've stuck that on, we need to punch a hole where the hole should be in the tag. So that's that done. Then we need to put some double-sided tape on both sides of the little tab that's on the top to attach it underneath the mat. So we take both of those pieces off, and that's going to attach underneath. So we've got a double-sided tape on there that we just did. We'll pop that on there to come just slightly away from the edge of the page, and I'll just tuck that underneath and stick that in. Then you can turn it around and pop some double-sided on the back, and then we'll attach it to the page. So I've taken the double-sided tape backing off, and let's pop that onto that first page. There. See, I wanted to be able to see that lighter edge around there. So you've got your flat piece there, and then that will be middle page. We have a mat exactly the same measurements as the front one, so that was 4 3/8 by 3 inches. And we also need a binding strip, so I want to make this a really simple binding. I'm not going to go into loads of messing about with the binding because it's only a little tiny album. So make a binding strip. I've used another Crafty Individuals stamp on there. I do love their stamps, it's so fine. Look at that one, it's absolutely amazing. It's 1 inch by the length of your mat, the same length as your mat. So this one in particular with this envelope is 4 3/8, and that's 1 inch wide, as I said. So we need to make a little pencil mark 1/2 inch in, so that we've got 1/2 inch sticking out. So what I did was inked it with the old paper, and then stamped the image both sides, and then did same inking as we did on the mats. So that's going to have to be stuck on there. I've actually put double-sided on the back of these to stick them to the envelope, so I can use that. I've got my pencil line somewhere. No, I haven't. I haven't even done it, have I? Oh dear, no hope. There's no hope for me. Right, pencil line at 1/2 inch, so that you can see where you need to bring your mat to. So they're all the same. There you go. Stick that down, so we'll need another piece of double-sided tape on there now. And what I want to do then, stick that down on the back of the envelope, leaving your small border. That will be our small binding strip there. So it will stick out on the front like that, on the back like that. What we need to do then is to make some holes in it. So if you centre your ruler in the middle of that binding strip, and then I'd go about 1 1/8, make a mark, and then 3 1/8. That'll make it more or less evenly spaced. Make 2 little marks in there, and then we can just punch our holes. Small holes for this one. use the crocodile, get the mark you made in the centre, the hole, and then make a hole for your binding. Now if you want to set eyelets in that, you can do, to make it a bit stronger. They'll only just go on there too. So you want to do all your pages like that. We need a piece of card which is 8 1/4 by 5, and you need to score that at 3 3/4. Oh, skipping all over the place. And at 4 1/2. These two score lines are going to make your binding. Then you want to decorate the covers, so you do whatever you want to do. If you want to ink them the same as I do, the same way as I did the pages, or you want to put patterned papers on the front, or stamped images, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to fold those two folds. This is going to become the cover. And we're going to need to put the holes in here. So I honestly think probably the best way to do it is just to get one of your pages, pop it down, come just very slightly, come around this way of the camera, from the score line, only slightly though, very slightly. Make sure you've got the same gap all the way round, which you should have, and then just pop a pencil mark inside there, and that'll give you where your holes have to go. You can do the same on the other side, so pop it in just slightly from, make sure it's not this you're centering, make sure you centre your page slightly away from that crease, and then make your pencil mark. Get your big bite, crocodile, you need a big bite for this one, and then just punch your holes in. Of course, you could use the old-fashioned way, but it's lots of noise. Lots of bashing around. It used to be very noisy. So when you've done your holes, put it back on your scoreboard and then score it at 3 1/8 and 5 1/8. That will give us that. So once you've done that scoring, then you can decorate your cover. So decorate it how you want it to be finished. When you've finished decorating, then I use this cord. It's sort of silky, it's really strong. I think where did I buy mine? In the range, and I think they do it in Hobbycraft as well. And you could use ribbon, or very thin ribbon, or fibres, whatever you want really. I use this because it's nice and strong. So thread it through the back like that, so you've got your two pieces there, and then start threading your, I've got them in the wrong order now, thread your pages in. December's disappeared. We'll see the way they'll sit in the actual album when it's done. So carry on putting your pages in like that until you've got all your pages in. Thread it through the front, obviously the cover, and then you can tie a bow. It will sit in there like that. Don't do it ever so tight, give it a little tiny bit of leeway, and then you can make a bow in the front and all your pages will be in. I used 24 inches of cord, which should be fine, so carry on with that. So to finish the album off, all I've done is make some tags. They're 4 by 3. You just need to use 2 sheets of card for those. You want 12 if you've done the album the same way as I have. Just use the Stampin' Up tab punch and I've used some crafty individuals, the background papers, book 7 I've got, and I've punched out, you can see I've even used a cover there. I used one page and the cover bits, and they will go into your pages. Like that. So if you want to put some stickles, or I don't know, perfect pearls, or colour in some of these, whatever you want to do, carry on, decorate it the way you want to, pop the pages in, and then hope you enjoyed the album. I'll see you again for another tutorial soon. Bye!